friends, how y'all doing? Welcome back to Coffee Time with Alice. So glad you could join me again this week. I'm always glad you join me week after week for these conversations. Yeah, I'm in a different location today. My house is a little bit of a mess and I'm kind of on the go most of the time, so this is part of my day job. I'm just kind of doing a couple things real quick before I head into the city for band practice. We have a big show on Friday, Art House in Berkeley at 7 p.m. May 30th. If you're watching this and you happen to be in Berkeley on that day, come check us out. Okay, shameless plug over. So for today's topic, we're going to dive right in. You've heard me mention a phrase many times. You've heard me say the words, be 1% better every day. You've heard me say it on many episodes. If you follow me on social media, you've seen me write about it in posts, captions for my pictures, whatever. It is a phrase that I live my life by. I initially heard that phrase at Oasis Pro Wrestling up in Berkeley. I was in the pro wrestling scene for about 5 years. I trained at a couple places, Stoner U in Oakland and Oasis Pro in Berkeley. And I learned a lot from both places. You know, they both left their mark, good and bad, but the indelible part of all of it has been the lessons, the life lessons that, yeah, I apply them to the ring, but they make even more sense in life. And one of those things, one of those lessons was the idea of being 1% better every day. I hear it all the time from Jacob Fatu. He was my coach before he went to WWE. And that always stuck with me. Because we're all fallible. We all have things that we're not proud of about ourselves, about our past, about our choices. People could say, not me. Well, you know what? You're either lying to yourself or you've been living in a cave your whole life and you haven't even lived. Both options are pretty terrible. But the upchuck is we're all fallible. We've all messed up in our lives. I certainly have. There are things in my life that I'm still trying to forgive myself for. And it's going to take time. And that circles right back to 1% better every day. Because it sounds like such a happy slogan. 1% better every day. You hear that and Leave It to Beaver or some damn thing. But here's the deal. A lot of times, yeah, it feels good. But there's a lot of times it doesn't. There are so many times that being 1% better feels like being 100% worse. Sometimes 1% better means sitting with your feelings, however they might be. It means owning up to your mistakes. It means reflecting on an argument you had with somebody, and you start thinking, okay, maybe I was a little out of line there. Maybe it's sitting with, I'm not good at this thing. I want to always do this thing, but I'm not really very good at it. I thought I was, but I still got stuff to work on. All of that is being 1% better. Falling apart and breaking down to make way for rebuilding yourself, that's 1% better. Falling apart just for the sake of falling apart and expecting everyone else to take care of you, that is not being 1% better. That is backsliding. But when you gotta do what you gotta do to be a better version of yourself, whether, it's sitting with some uncomfortable feelings, whether it's just making a proactive choice, whether it's something relating to harm reduction, like if you're dealing with an addiction issue, where, maybe you do something else that ain't so good for you, but it's less shitty for you than the thing you were doing, and it's helping you get away and change your behavior. All of that. It's not fashionable. And it's not for the world. It's not for other people to be like, yay, good job, I'm proud of you, I'm gonna pat you on the back. Like, yeah, sometimes that's nice, but at the end of the day, nobody owes you that. The world doesn't owe you a living, nor do you owe the world a living. Like, this idea that you should kill yourself for everyone else, yeah, that's not a good idea either. But you do owe yourself, just like I owe myself. We all owe ourselves the opportunity to get better, the opportunity to keep growing, to not give in to atrophy. Like, I was reading this thing about Dick Van Dyke, who I think he's like 99 now or something, or whatever, about to turn 100. Feel free to correct me in the comments if you'd like. But his whole thing about, people were asking, well, how do you live so long, and how are you so active, and how do you still have such brightness and such energy? And he's like, well, it's because I don't give up. I keep trying new things. I keep challenging myself. Like, that guy, he's the epitome of 1% better every day. He's always challenging himself. And there's so many people that do that. A lot of people, you see them aging gracefully, or you see them where you want to be in life. It's not because they're just inherently privileged, or because they screwed somebody over to get it. I mean, yeah, sometimes that's the case, but no one said the world was fair. But a lot of times it's because that person chose to be 1% better every day. They chose to sit with discomfort and let the fire of that push them forward. Let it mold their sword. Let it mold their pottery, if you will. Keep getting better. And so, yeah, that's what being 1% better means for me. It means making a promise to yourself to keep striving to do better, to take the steps to, on average, be a little bit better every day. You're not always going to be better every day. It's not linear. Nothing's ever linear. Sometimes it'll look like a sinusoidal function. Anybody, who loves math, you'll know what that means. But it does. Like, sometimes, you might be like that, and or maybe he'll be like up here, and then you kind of does this, and then you kind of go back up. But you still shoot for 1% better. You're still putting that effort into it. You're still putting that energy into yourself, into the universe, into the people around you. Because, yeah, you don't owe it to people to be better, but when you believe in yourself enough to keep doing better, it will affect the people around you. Because we all do have our energies, and you do feel other people's energy. People will see that in you. Whether you know about it or not, you can always lead by example. And you never know what kind of trickle effect that can have on your local community. So yeah, that's, I've kind of been wanting to talk about that for some time, because it does mean a lot to me. It came to me that phrase came to me when I needed it the most, when I was making a lot of excuses as to why I wasn't where I wanted to be. And I'm not perfect. I'm still working on it, but I'm getting better and better every day. And I hold myself accountable. So what does 1% better every day mean to you? What does that look like? Feel free to comment below. Because we're all in this together if we want to be. I believe in you. I think we can all be the best version of ourselves we can be. I love you all. I'll see you next week. Probably do a little bit of a lighter topic next week. Cheers.